pleasant good night to each and every one of you. Today is December the 30th, 9/20/15. Time now is 8:30 p.m. I sit down in my house just thinking about a lot of things. And since I sitting here, I wanted to wish every one of you in Guyana a happy new year. How happy will the new year be depends upon the leaders, the futures, the corrupt businessmen, and those politicians who have the answer to your solution. We have seen for many years since Guyana was independent in 1966 until the last general election, we have produced nothing in the country. Some people like Burnham, some people like Cherry. These two men did not bring about anything good for their country, a country that is 3,000 square miles, with all those natural resources. Guyanese suffer more than any other nation in that hemisphere, giving the population. A country with so many resources, a climate to suit, and natural resources to the limit of expansion that you could have become millionaire instead of taxpayers. But those leaders had no vision, only for their party, themselves, and their comrades. What led us to independence from the first place? Every nation wanted to rule themselves, and they fought for independence against the colonial master. Burnham and Jagan was one until they split, thanks to the U.S. government that get involved in Guyana politics also. The talk of those days was communism versus the imperialist country, such as America, England, France, and many, many others. Dr. Jagan would have stopped at nothing. All that he had wanted is power. What is independence to a nation that do not know the truth? Indian vote at that time on the basis of racism. Blacks also vote on racism. 1 or 2% here and there stand up for what they call freedom and wanted a better Guyana. How better is Guyana today to compare that when the British had it? Ladies and gentlemen, it is fair to say that your politician had lied to you. Burnham lied to the nation. He lied to black people. Chetty lied to the Indians. Until all this problem happens, you drove the white man out of Guyana. As the saying goes, we do not need Yankee go home. We do not need the man called Jack Kelcher, the taxman. We send him back to England. But yet for all, since 1966 to the last election of this year in Georgetown, Guyana, Guyanese citizens, Indian and black, the two dominant forces, were still running to Canada, America, England, and elsewhere in the Caribbean. Racism was a part of our legacy. And yes, I would not get into it on both sides of the fence. But who to be blamed? Is the people? Of course I will say not. It is the leaders. They had an opportunity to change the direction and the course of the country, but instead of doing that, in some area the ministers separate the country more and create more havoc. The PNC ruled it with a coalition government for 20-something years, but the coalition only lasted about a year or whatever with the United Force. Burnham did not be honest with the people. We had the death of the late Walter Radney, Uwini, Dublin. We had the death of Father Dark. We had the death of Vincent Tika. We had the Jonestown tragedy. There was so many blood under Burnham time that it would have been enough if we were giving into the blood bank. We would have saved the life of many innocent people. But yes, that is our history and that is the legacy. I ask many questions. Why Indian and black people are fighting each other for a country that do not belong to them, since knowing that both of them identify mother country, such as Africa and India? What happened to the Chinese? What happened to the Portuguese? Are these not citizens of other countries? Why they did not argue for Portugal nor China? Only the African talk about Mother Africa and the Indian talk about Mother India. Ladies and gentlemen, when we learn to put those things in the corner, then Guyana can be a powerful place once again. And I must be honest with you, the most notorious people in Guyana happens to be the East Indian, very vindictive, very corrupt, and think that they are smart and very curmudgeon. It is a race that you have to look at very closely. Yes, there are good people, but they was misled. On the other hand, with my black brothers and sisters, I want to be fair on both sides. Y'all are the most racist they got in the country, if you do not understand. And you cannot use your color of your skin or the symptom of your hair to justify your crime. But both of you have faults. If I was the scale and have to weight, it will not be too far and it won't be much difference from grams. So I call upon all of you to stop your nonsense. Guyana belongs to all of us, or with the rate it's going, it will be for none of us. We try a lawyer by the name of Foss Barnum. He deceived his nation. We try a doctor by the name of Chedi Jagan. He deceived his nation. We try an accountant, Barajak Deo, and he himself put the country in so much corruption that for a small nation we was ahead of India, the world's greatest corrupt country in the modern world. And I have no apology for this. It is true. Certain businessmen could have done no wrong. Judges, magistrate cannot practice in the court without a telephone ring or a letter or somebody representing somebody. If you wanted to murder anybody and get off, just be a friend of the politician who knows to call the judge and set you free, or the magistrate who can set you free or send you to prison and you're an innocent man. But yet for all, these judges and magistrates swear on the Bible, the Quran, and maybe the Ramayana that they will honor the laws of the country and do what is right. I wanted to say clearly, if I have to examine everything straightly and give judgment, then our judicial system would have to change. Many judges have to give up a portfolio and step aside. Many lawyers also must be brought into question because of the crime they had committed against their fellow man. Many innocent people lost their case because of money in envelopes to judges and lawyers and politicians and corrupt businessmen. I happen to be victim of those. But I want you to understand, these things will not go unpaid. Nothing lasts forever. And the legacy we left will go with us to our grave. And if you have children, you don't hurt innocent people or their family. The world changes overnight. It is time for we to put things together and make Guyana a better place. Remember this, nothing lasts forever. Now you have a military man, David Granger. Let's cooperate with him and give him the opportunity to do his job. If he fails us, then we have no other choice to replace him in the next election. So it is up to you to do what is right. But I want these politicians to know, none of you are gods, and none of you is the prophet. You are only men and women who swear to do what is right, and that is what I'm looking for. I want justice as much as you. I want the law to change, that when somebody lie on you, and they prove that they lie, they must be jailed, tried, and if found guilty, they must be executed. If they thief from you, same thing must be for them. If you lock up an innocent man, be a magistrate, a judge, or a police that make a wrong case, and it proved that they were wrong, try them, and if found guilty, execute them. You have to get rid of the cancer. It may sound very serious, but how can we get justice when dollar bill in an envelope changed the course of history, and corrupt politicians from the PPP and the PNC have changed justice and deny people their rights? A lot of innocent Guyanese are in prison. Plenty get released, but David Granger and the PPP members are crying. I congratulate the man to set the prisoners free and make room for political prisoners. Let's give him our support and call for changing the judicial system. Let's re-examine all the case that innocent people lost. And if the people was betrayed, let's hold the judges, magistrate, politician who got hands in it, corrupt policemen and others accountable for those crimes. Then we will see true democracy and freedom for all. Anyone speak of a different race of color, creed, or culture must be charged, because we are Guyanese, not black man, Koli man, Chinese man, Portuguese man, and Bok man, and Douglas man. When we learn to respect that, we will have a good country for all Guyanese. That's my message for you for this year. Let me wish all of you all the best for a better Guyana in the future. Good luck.